Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of your favorite Ravens YouTube channel and podcast, Talking Ravens all day, every day, with your host, Justin P. And my MVP billion-dollar co-host, the lovely Miss Shannon Finch. This is episode 130 for the YouTube channel. And for the audio version, for those live, might be working and just moving around, you can check us out in the audio version. The links are right there below in the description. And right under that is myself, Shannon, and Dave's social media platforms. Like I say every show, I have everything for promotional purposes. Shannon, Twitter, Facebook, IG, David, Facebook, IG. So if there's anything, if y'all feel like we should be talking about that we don't talk about on the show, messages, and we'll, include it in the next show. We like to engage with the fans and subscribers. I'm about to say like and subscribe. We're gonna do our recap as usual. Shannon got some good stuff lined up, man. With a game, with a game, with a game. So let's get right into it. The floor is yours, Shannon.
All right, Justin. So we just won three in a row, week 5 with 3-2. Give me your good, bad, and ugly for week 5.
Uh, the good, the whole entire offense. I gotta give them collective effort. Of course, Lamar spearheaded it. He's the quarterback. Doug Henry, I told you the Bengals were gonna be on the run early, but he popped
Mhm.
one when we needed it the most. I told you Zay was gonna have a good game. That's why I told everybody, because when teams load up, stop the run, the pass becomes available. So I'm glad we can attack teams in more than one phase. Charlie Kolar's now getting involved. Andrew's starting to get his screw back. Likely doing his thing still. The offensive line is now no longer a liability and a weak link. Todd Monken play calling, still with some situational stuff, but overall, 41 points. You got to give him his credit. So, Marlon Humphrey's interception. I know everybody have a certain disdain for him because he might, he's kind of a goofy character, but like I said, he's healthy. He's one of the best corners in the league. Marlon.
Mhm.
The bad penalties still penalties. You got to claim the penalties. Couple turnovers. That was more so just concentration stuff. One was on Lamar. The one he threw the touchdown was on him. That's the crazy thing about it. The one that didn't recover, Linderbaum snapped it a little too late. And then while Lamar was going through his progression, but we definitely got to clean that up for us bad. And time management course for hardball and stuff and timeouts because, like I said, the two bunker birds and safety could have cost us the game. Probably should have, to be honest with you, if the Bengals placeholder wasn't, didn't have popcorn like Bruce, what's the movie? Shit, Longest Yard. Hmm. So yeah,
Mhm.
ugly this defense, man. I'm like I said, I'm trying to give Zoe all the grace in the world. I still understand. I had a rough couple first games and Dean Pease with the 2012 time. I get that, and I feel that the difference with Mike McDonald is it was more so players just blowing assignments versus scheme. This is more so scheme. Yes, this has been a couple things execution wise too, but the songs he got us in is crazy. Then he got Eddie Jackson 1-on-1 with T Higgins. He's gonna lose that 9 times out of 10. He's a safety in our corner. So definite defense. Like I said, they got to get the pick. That was more so Marlon rolling the dice, making a play. So yeah, just gotta get cleaned up because we can't be in a shootout every single week. That's my good bad nugget.
I agree with majority of what you said, and what you said is also what I have, just in different areas. For the good, I have the offense as well. And the fact that we won, that was a game that we could have lost. I thought it was lost. I'm watching them about to kick the field goal. I'm thinking it's over, and we see what happened with that. So overall, I just feel like the offense and the fact that we won was the good. Bad pass defense. I mean, at this point, it's embarrassing. Like I don't. We're going to get into that a little bit more in other topics, but that was just bad. Some of the refs calls, one of the rough in the passes call, I didn't like it. And a blatant face mask on Mark Andrews that wasn't called. I mean, it was just things that they missed. Also, like you said, time management. Calling the timeout when it was third and long. Had to call a timeout because we was about to get a delayed game. And I also didn't like when we went for it on fourth down. We was on like the 23rd yard line. I didn't like it. But it was what it was. And for the ugly again for me, fifth week in a row, is penalties. That's been an issue since week 1. And at some point, it's going to cost us. Like we have to get that cleaned up.
Well said. And I agree.
All right, so we're moving on to position grades. Justin, what grade did you give the coaches this week?
It would have been an A, but we were so bad defensively. Even rush defense was getting gas a little bit, but they just didn't give up a bunch of yards. But so to round it all up, because Todd Monken had a great showing. B plus.
You said a B plus.
It's only because our offense scored the way he did. Like I said, the defense would have been a little better. Could
Okay, so I give him a B. Because I do like that we stayed aggressive offensively. It was times on the game where the run game looked like it wasn't working, and we didn't necessarily get away from it. Um, Actually, that was a play that sealed the game for us to win it, a run play. In other years, we may have not have run the ball just because they would have felt like it's not working, and we kept doing it, and it worked then. Um, and the defense, they just had a rough day. They had a rough day. But like you said, the offense is what rounds that grade up because I mean, every time they got out there, I was confident they were going to score because they just seemed like they was in a zone. Like so, the offense definitely gives rounds the grade up to a B for me.
gotcha.
And what grade do you give Lamar?
A plus, yes, like I say, I'm a mimic Stephen A. I don't care about the fumbles. Yes, if you want to hold it against him, that's your prerogative, like Bobby. But with all his performance, this is a ass whipping. Straight up. Like I didn't hold Dirk and family fumble against him. I'm not gonna hold the fumble against Lamar. So A plus. Like I said, the man, 300 total yards, 400 total yards again by himself, counting for 4 touchdowns. So A plus. Like I said, if you want to nitpick with the fumbles, that's all means that's your thing. But I'm not gonna do it.
Yeah, I gave him an A plus as well. I feel like Lamar had a great game. Um, like I said, at every point it was a point that every time we got on the field, I felt like we was going to score, and that was mainly because of him. He led us. He was confident. He was calm. He led us to victory, and he had 4 touchdowns. Like I don't think it can get much better than that. So A plus for Lamar. It can get better, but that was a great game. Like he was making something out of nothing plenty of times, and like things that he was doing is things that only he can do. You know what I mean? Like
Maybe
it,
Pat.
maybe. Lamar, I was impressed on Sunday. I'll put it that way. He really, really impressed me because it was like he was like it was like he felt like we're not gonna lose this game. And every time we got on the field, he played that way.
Yeah, 'cause the only thing on his mind right now is winning the championship. All the accolades he been there and done that. He's not worried about that no more.
Yeah. All right. So what grade do you give the running backs?
Since Derrick Henry did have a big run at the end, Justice Hill did do a little something. I'll give him a B. It was going to be a C, but like I said, that big run kind of bolted it up, and then Lamar's rushing yards into it. So I give it a B.
Yep, I had him as a B as well for the same exact reasons you just said. So it ain't even no need to repeat that. Um, Offensive line, what grade do you give them?
I gotta give him an A plus plus. Without them, like that doesn't happen. Like he doesn't. He's not going to sit there. He can't make everybody miss. Derrick Henry can't make everybody miss. He can't block for us. So yeah, A plus plus. And this group has been scrutinized, and rightfully so. But the last couple of weeks they have showed up and showed out. So A plus plus.
I'm gonna give him a B. Um, I feel like I feel like if Lamar wasn't the type of quarterback that he was, it could have been an uglier day. There was a lot of times that he was running for his life. He had to try to make something out of nothing. So they didn't have a flawless day. But of course, you can't do much offensively without your offensive line doing their job. So I give him a B.
I respect it, like that, man. I respect it.
And what grade do you give the wide receivers and tight ends?
A plus because he can't throw it and catch it to himself. No matter if he escaped and be Houdini, somebody had to catch the ball. Say
Hmm.
Aguilar, I mean not Aguilar, Kolar did his thing. Bateman, he's starting to come alive more. I guess he's getting tired of me disrespecting him with the over. He's making a believe. So yeah, definitely A plus.
I had the same grade, and for all the reasons you just said as well. Everybody just stepped up, and we got the win. So, and it was a big part. They played a big part in that, and we talked about that last week. That there might be a game where it's their game, like this was their game.
Each week, each challenge present itself. So that's why I tell the people just, I think we'll still try to spearhead the run as we should, but like I said, it's good defensive coordinator like Dan Quinn. He might try to take that run away too. So that
Hmm.
might and the risk in the commander secondary is not that good. So it might be another big game for them.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that on Thursday, of course.
All right. So let's move over to the defense. What do you give the defensive line? What grade do you give them?
B plus. They stopped the run pretty well, but Burrow did have a lot of some time to throw. They got to him a little bit, so I can give him a B plus. I'm probably being nice, but I'm a D lineman, so I'm sure.
Mhm. I gave them a B minus. I do feel like they were doing what needed to be done up front. Got pressure, got some quarterback hits, got some sacks, contained the run. But for me, in the second half, they just weren't as impactful. They could have been tired. You know what I mean? That plays a part too. So I don't know, but I gave them a B minus.
That's fair. We ain't too far off on that.
And what grade did you give the linebackers?
C plus. They stopped the run okay. They was giving up a little bit in passing lanes, wasn't getting to these zones properly. Roquan did make some tackles, but still we was giving up in the middle of the field. T. Higgins and Chase was cutting through. So yeah, after that, I give him a C plus.
I gave him a B minus. For the same reasons you just said. I just wish we could have got a little bit more from Owe and Van Noy in this game. This is a game that we needed them. Um, and like you said, I also feel like they got exposed in pass coverage. Roquan had a day up front, stopping the run and things like that. That's what he's great at. But yeah, I gave him a B minus because, like I said, they could have been a lot better, but
You was
it
being
wasn't
nice.
all bad.
I'm being
Yeah, I
nice
was being nice.
with the linebackers.
Yeah, it was real nice. Look, B minus C plus almost the same thing basically. It's like 1 point away from each other.
For sure.
And what grade do you give the DBs?
Jesus Christ. Only because Marlon got this turnover to get a C. Only because that was going to be D, that was going to be D for sure. But Marlon
Hmm.
get a chance to win. So and Hamilton got a sack. So we'll see. That's the only reason why he gets C.
Yeah, I said the same thing. C, and it's only because of the same reasons you just said. But I do think that at some point we're gonna have to start talking about Marcus Williams because he's not what we need him to be. And that's becoming an issue.
And granted, he was hurt and hurt, and so we trying to give him the grace because he was healthy, he was balling. So we try
Hmm.
Eddie Jackson, he got to give us a little bit more too. And then
Yeah.
Brad Stevens, I'm just like I said, we last year did his thing, but this year teams like, oh yeah, yeah, let's see if you really like that again this year. We're gonna target you a lot more and get
Hmm.
that. So and it's a contract year, so yeah.
Hmm. That's why you drafted a cornerback in the first round.
Yeah. You gotta do it again. So it wasn't fool's gold.
Yeah. And what grade did you give the special teams?
I give it B plus, like game winner, game tire. So yeah, B plus.
I gave him a C. I feel like Justin Tucker won a game for us. He hit a 50 plus yarder, something he hadn't been doing throughout the weeks. But I feel like we could have been better with the special teams. Like Tyler Wallace not fielding that punt, that cost us, that gave them the 2 points right
Yeah,
there.
yeah, that was bad. Yeah.
Anytime your special teams is hurting you, they're not that's not a good day for them. So I just gave him a C.
You know what's crazy? I missed that play because I had to go piss real fast. I come,
Mm-hmm.
why we on the 3 yard line? Um,
That was crazy. All right, so moving on to the topics for tonight. Now we kind of got into this a little bit, so I can't wait to really hear your thoughts on this because you've been hinting at how you feel, but I want to hear it. So, do you think that Zach Orr is in over his head as defensive coordinator?
yes, so far, yes. Because reason being, there's just too many players out there don't and then some of it's on them. But you as a coordinator, you gotta make sure everybody's in position. You make the call, you gotta make sure everybody's lined up where they're supposed to be, and it's just and then personnel wise, you keep putting 6 DBs on the field, like go with your 4-2-5 and Mike McDonald one, that's why that was my biggest fan, man. You kept talking about don't deviate from what had success. If you want to put your little spins, that's perfectly fine. But stick with the bread and butter. That 4-2-5 with Hamilton in the box. let him do his thing, and like I said, let Eddie and Marcus stay over the top, and then Darius Washington, fit him in, and then move Nate and Marlon around. Put one in the slot, one outside, or mismatch. Move Brandon Stevens in the slot. Move players up, like get a different groove. The way teams don't know these guys at a lot. Brandon Stevens here, Marlon here. We're gonna attack here, and then blitz a little bit more. Like he's so scared to blitz. Like I don't get it. Like like I ain't saying blitz crazy, but have control blitzes where we're not getting killed. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
she ain't getting pressure without front four. You gotta send some heat, man. This yeah, like because Joe Burrow had all day to throw, and that's a problem. And Grant and I'm gonna give more. I'm gonna give him his credit. Like I said, he's one of the best quarterbacks when healthy. And he got two of the
Mm-hmm.
best on outside, like we was talking about. But yeah, he got
Mm-hmm.
to rotate your D line. What did we activate Yannick and Ngakwe for?
Yeah,
I
what
don't.
he got in there? Like he got in there a couple like once or twice, but he
I don't. You got good. I mean, I don't remember seeing him at all. So you got
because I
good.
saw he posted a video on Twitter of himself like in the game. That's how I realized that he got because I didn't know he got in either, but I saw the clip that he posted.
Shouldn't be a thing we just caught by chance. We should have known he played. He
Yeah.
played the snaps. Like we rotate him and Tavis Robinson. Let Malik come off the edge. Malik can play in the middle. That's fine, but don't have him run around crossing. Try and run receivers on crossing. Not good.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm trying to be patient with Zoe. My expectation for him is high. And I fans out of him because he played here, so he know the expectation, and he was a pretty good player. So he know he know defense. I get it. We got Lamar. He's the face, but we people forget this is still a defensive oriented organization that will never ever change. So it's like we this is unacceptable, man. Like and this has been all year. They ain't said if it was just one game. This is like I said, uh, KC moved the ball up and down the field on us. The Raiders move up down for the Cowboys. Yeah, but in the fourth quarter, boom. The Bills was probably the best game. His look, and then like I said, it's easier to stop teams when they down. And when they down,
Mm-hmm.
it's the worst team in the league can play defense when you got a lead. So then turn around this week, give up almost 40. So yeah, we gotta get it together, man. But I'm gonna be a little bit more patient. But if I don't see a change by week 8 or 9, it's like I don't know, brother. You might have to go coach in college and get a little bit more experience. At least Mike McDonald, once he got Roquan and all that, they turned around. But in a couple more weeks, if it still looks like this, then yeah, he might be one and done.
Okay. Um, I'm gonna say no. I don't think he's in over his head. So before I get into my points, I would be curious to know what was the success when and got defensive coordinators their first year? Like how many of them had success out the gate and how many struggled? And then what did they become? Because this is his first time being defensive coordinator. And whether we want to acknowledge it or not, we had to give McDonald grace because we were saying the same things through 5 weeks. You saw the tweet, and I told you I was going to reference it tonight, but you saw that tweet about the comparison between 2022 and 2024 through 5 weeks. They gave up more total yards than this team is. I don't think that you have the number one run defense by accident. So as much as we can complain about the pass defense, which rightfully so we should, it's a mess, it's horrible, right? But I feel like it's other aspects of the defense that's not bad. So he can't be in over his head all the way because he got that part right. They have no issue, stopping a run. You don't, I mean, and being number one, you know, that's not an easy feat. And outside of that, John Harbaugh mentioned in his press conference this week that it was like, I guess they saw watching film, that like 4 to 5 players were playing the wrong coverages throughout the game, right? So then that made me think, I'm like, okay, well, if that's what's going on, what's the issue? Are they not getting the plays in quick enough? Is the person not relaying the play the right way? Or do players not know their assignments? Because every week we've been saying the same thing about the miscommunication. And then to hear John Harbaugh say that, it's like, okay, so where does it stem from? I feel like all of this can be corrected. So that's why I don't think that he's in over his head. And I'm still going to say give him grace. Because, like I said, everybody talks about Mike McDonald, but through 5 weeks in his first year, it was basically the same thing. In his, he gave up more total yards than what we have right now.
Yeah, the thing with falls that part that falls on two people, well, three: John Harbaugh, Zach Orr, and Roquan Smith. Roquan Smith,
Mm-hmm.
that you're the quarterback of the defense. Before the ball snap, you're supposed to make sure everybody is aligned. Everybody knows what they're supposed to know. You're the quarterback of the defense. Kyle Hamilton, he's the quarterback back there, and in the second, him and Marlon. Y'all supposed to everybody. That's why I say y'all supposed to talk and make sure everybody know what they supposed to be doing. Just as much how they talking on offense, checking for blitzes and slotting coverages, you supposed to be doing the same exact thing. You know,
And that's why my last point was: do the players understand their assignments? Because that could be an issue. Like Roquan and Marlon or Kyle Hamilton, they might say it the right way and tell you what to do, but what if somebody really don't know what they're supposed to be doing? And then by the time you figure it out, the ball already snapped in the air and is looking a mess when we see the blown coverages. So it could be a lot of things. And when you got that many players, 4 to 5, that's a lot. That ain't just one player being out of place. That means you got a whole group of guys who didn't know what the heck was going on. And I do think that they need to communicate. I do. Because obviously your communication ain't that good if this continues to be an issue week in and week out.
that's half the defense, so that's definitely an issue. And I think it fall back on the defensive coordinator because last year these guys was in positions basically the same secondary, just minus Ronald Darby and Gino.
Mm-hmm.
Minus them two. That's it.
Excuse me.
That was lights out. So these guys ain't forget how to play football. So I think it still somewhat falls on Zach Orr. But like I
Yeah,
said,
and that's the thing about it. Zach Orr's going to put his own spin on the defense. Period. He couldn't come out and do the exact same thing. But right now, whatever he was doing, whatever he's doing in the passing game, pass defense is not working, and that's why I said self scout, and he can correct it, and then it might not be that bad.
well, yeah, he can do the exact same thing. You can just add a tweak or two. That's all. You don't gotta, you can do the exact. But they say if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But hey,
Yeah, but then how much respect will he get as a DC if he just doing what somebody else did?
we this as long as we
Because
win,
that would be a knock. I mean, we don't care because we want to win, right? But I'm just saying when people start talking about like they do offensive coordinators when they got good quarterbacks. They might not give that offensive coordinator the credit because they might put it on the quarterback. So I'm
so the
saying if he don't add,
you see instead of coaching Mahomes, you want to go coach Mr. Trubisky to prove a point.
no,
I'm gonna
no.
Mr. Trubisky to a Pro Bowl quarterback. Y'all gonna give me my
But
respect.
think about it. Yeah, but think about those types of quarterbacks. Hardly do you even really credit the offensive coordinator. Sometimes you do, but right, like with Kansas City, I think everybody think Andy Reid is running the offense, regardless of who the offensive coordinator is.
It's
Just
his
just for
it's his system for sure.
yeah. All right, so moving on to the next topic. Now, I'm asking this question because when I was watching a game, my brother actually asked this, like, would we do this? And
Speaking of
I
him, get him on the show one day. I've been meant to say something. I might have probably did.
no, you did. I will get him on.
What the schedule look like? Yeah.
But he said this to me during the game, and I thought it was an interesting question. So if you were Eric DeCosta, would you include Mark Andrews in a trade to get a wide receiver?
Oh man, that's a good and fair question. It all depends who, because the Raiders have two tight ends already, so it's like they wouldn't even waste their time.
Hmm.
And on rookie contract, so that you gotta exclude them. The Titans have a pretty good tight end, unless they want to go two tight ends, maybe. But who I'm trying to think, who else? The Packers, maybe. Well, you gonna get Christian Watson and somebody, but he's banged up. So it all depends on the team. Philly has Dallas Goddard, so they not coughing it up. So it all depends. It all depends. Like only team I can really see, hmm, the Dolphins maybe, but I don't think they want to break that up with Tyreek and Waddle. And then
Hmm.
they don't want to help us out. We want to beat them. It all depends. And then like I said, the Vikings, they're not coughing up neither one of their receivers, and plus they got T.J. Hockenson, so a solid tight end. So it's like who's gonna do it? The Seahawks, maybe, but you didn't think Mike McDonald's gonna trade to us?
Why not?
I mean, he probably wouldn't, but I mean, the Seahawks are the probably most liable team. It would have to be an NFC team for sure, unless it's probably like the a team that's just not going nowhere, like the Jets. Maybe they might say, "Hey, man, we ain't going nowhere, man." Yeah, take Allen Lazard and give us Allen Lazard and something else, whatever, and you take Mark Andrews or one another pass rusher, and we'll get some picks and give us Mark Andrews. Maybe that's the only thing because their tight ends are not all that. But
Mm-hmm.
I think Dallas definitely not coming up on no receiver for no tight end. Plus, they like the kid Ferguson. Uh, yeah, or the Falcons, like I said, they got Cal Pitts, so it was like, and then the 49ers got Kittle, so it was like, who the Lions is that? So not too many teams going to call for a receiver for a tight end because it's much easier to find a tight end than it is to find a bona fide wide receiver.
Mm-hmm. And I think he asked that question just because of Adams being up for trade. We was talking about Hopkins
Yeah,
possibly
Mertz,
getting trade.
Likely, Kolar,
Yeah,
I get it. I kind of think it's a couple people get
and
comfortable.
he was and because they were and then because Likely and Kolar were balling,
Yeah,
he asked that question, right? So my answer is no. I feel like Mark Andrews is a
right.
Raven. He's a leader on and off the field. He's somebody you want on your team. He's a guy that doesn't care about stats. He just wants to win, and we've seen that for his tenure being here. We also know that he's not afraid of competition. He stepped up big when Hayden Hurst was injured and basically took the job. He made Hayden Hurst be dispensable, and it was okay to trade him when he wanted to be traded because we saw what we had in Mark Andrews. And even right now, he's still not afraid of competition. And with Likely and Cola on them being there, he knows that they're being used and what that could be. That's the type of guy that you want in your locker room. I wouldn't just trade him away just for a wide receiver because the wrong wide receiver can mess up the chemistry of the team. Mark Andrews is a leader on his team, so you don't just go trading somebody up like him away. Now, when it comes time to have to pay these guys, that's a different conversation. You have some decisions that are going to have to be made either way. But right now, no, I would not trade him for a wide receiver.
One last little nugget, then we can move on. Plus, why take away one of your quarterback's most trusted targets outside of Zay? Because in the playoffs, Mark Andrews will make the catch. Likely showed a little something, but Kolar, so you want to trade him away, then Kolar one of them drop the ball in the playoffs for him. Was so Andrews is going to show up because he's been in playoff game at the playoff game. Like you said,
Yeah.
for a receiver who might maybe get upset because he's not getting those targets. Yeah, and like I said, it's an interesting and somewhat fair question, but no, it's no 89.
And it's and that actually speaks volumes of like Likely and Cola for to even be a discussion. You know what I mean? Because you wouldn't want to even talk about trading Mark Andrews if you didn't feel comfortable with who's behind him.
It's still
You
a small
know?
size for both of them, but that's
Oh
why I
no,
said
it's definitely a small sample size, definitely. But my either way, no, Mark Andrews is not. I wouldn't trade him if I was Eric DeCosta.
absolutely not.
All right, and so our last topic for today. Now we're about a quarter through the season. We've played 5 games. We have 17 games now, so we're going to say 5 games of the first quarter.
It is.
So what grade would you give the Ravens for the first quarter? And before you give your grade, I want you to give your reasons why, and then say your grade at the end.
B plus. Reasons why defensively, like
I
you said.
said say your grade at the end, but go ahead. But go ahead.
Um, then you said give my grade and give me say why, right?
No, I said say why and then give your grade at the end. But that's
Oh,
fine.
okay. Well, reiterate down one message as well. This defense has been an Achilles heel. Like I said, I know we're number one in rushing. I get that. And I feel that. Like I said, with Metabeke and them guys up there, you're not going to give up a lot of rushing yards. And not to try to take nothing from Zoor, it's definitely he gives us some credit. But we spend too much resources in the secondary, first round pick, getting safeties, giving them big money, drafting safeties first round. There's just too many resources back there for us to be giving up those plays. So with that, I give it a B plus overall for the first half of the season. Then the O line struggles. We finally got it together, so B plus to equal it all out for the first half.
Okay. So for me, I say offensively, I feel like there have been issues, but there's also been flashes. And it just shows how great they can be. I also feel like each week the offense has improved, especially being down 0-2. We're finding still finding their ways, but winning games and winning games in different ways. And that's a good thing. That's a good thing to have on your under your belt because that means you're battle tested. You nothing will really, scare you at any point at any point in the season because you've won three different ways 3 weeks in a row. I feel like the defense have only played like a Raven 1 week, and I was against the Bills. I think we both can agree to that.
Yeah.
They started out great against the Cowboys for 3 quarters, but folded in the fourth quarter. Some issues in week one and week two popped up in week five as well. I mean, we were just bad, and it seemed like we couldn't do much of anything right after a while in that game, even after we were up 14 to what, 7? Even
Mhm.
when it was 14-9, like it just seemed like we could have been doing more defensively and we weren't, but and special teams, I mentioned this earlier. I feel like they've literally put us in bad spots for 5 weeks. But ending the quarter the way we did with Justin Tucker making those field goals, particularly the one to win the game, still a lot of work to do for the team for them to be great. But based on where we are right now, I'll give the team a B minus.
And to speak on the offense, each week they scored more points, literally 20. I just did the math 20, 23, 28, 35, 41.
Yeah,
Right now,
they've
they're
improved.
points a game. So, as much to get on Todd Monken, Todd, his old drunk self, 30 points a game, that's like, come on, that is great. So it's like, miles around it up to 30. So it's like, I got, I can't really say too much. And like I said, who was to say if the O line wouldn't have been struggling what he did? Could have been more. So
Hmm.
he couldn't say it great.
And we played some pretty good teams. Like I don't even know if anybody else in the NFL has had the stretch of games that we've had through 5 weeks. Like I would have to look at everybody's schedule, but we had some tough opponents. Even if I mean you could say that maybe not the Raiders if you want to count them out, but I think
Definitely
and
Cowboys. Definitely
yeah,
Cowboys.
I mean the Cow all
Cowboys over
four
the Chiefs.
all four of them have quarterbacks. Each team has quarterbacks. Each team had weapons. Like I just can't think of any other team that's had to play the same type of caliber teams that we've played through 5 weeks. Like I said, even if you take the Raiders out, the Chiefs, the Cowboys, the Bills, and the Bengals, with the talent that those teams have,
For sure. All of them have
to
a
be
top
to
5, top 10 quarterback, top 10
yeah,
receiver. Sure.
yeah, and to start off 0-2 and to be 3-2 and the Ravens have no. And I said that after that 0-2 start, I said the next couple of weeks is going to show us the character of this team, and I feel like they showed us that they fighters.
We
Like
should be 4-1
they
for real.
they didn't they didn't quit.
We should be 4-1. I'll eat the KC loss because we trailed majority of that game. But the Raiders game, that was just a dud. Should be 4-1. But hey.
Oh yeah.
Well, everyone, that's it for tonight's show. Shannon brought the heat as usual. Like I said, y'all can check us out in the audio version. Links are right there in the description. Shannon, definitely, if you can, get your clips. Because a couple people was asking me, I said, yeah, like she's busy, so she'll get it next week for sure.
Yeah, I told you my service be bad at work. My in office days are Tuesdays and Wednesdays, so that's why it's tough to do it on.
Um, Do it, yeah. Just go ahead and do your clips because, like I said, they love them. They like how you do it. Thursday, we'll do a preview the game versus Commanders on the big game. David should be back. He says he's feeling good, so I have him back on. You know what I'm about to say? Make sure y'all trade. Talking Ravens all day, every day. Shannon, you want to say everything before we leave out?
I just want to say I'm proud of the team. Like I said, we said that we could easily be 0-5, and we aren't. So I'm proud of them for stepping up and fighting, even when it looked ugly.
Yeah, we show some resilience for sure. And like I said, I gotta give Todd Bunkin his credit. He's been the coach. He's been the coach of the quarter so far. I gotta give it to him. So even if he do want to drink his little, mind, he kind of low key earned it. Just don't do it the day for the game. I mean, yeah. On Friday, we did. Yeah, the offense has been out saving grace, even with the O line issues and all that. They, like I said, 30 points a game right now. It's definitely got to be up there with some of the other teams in the league.
Hmm.
Like I said, y'all make sure y'all trade. You know what I mean? Talking Ravens all day, every day. From your host Justin P and my MVP co-host Miss Shannon Finch. See y'all Thursday, and NBA preseason's on. Watch some of that, and we'll see y'all Thursday. Yeah.
Good night, Justin.
Thanks, Shannon.